weirdos, welcome to KIWPFM, the weirdest show in town. What if I just changed the name of the podcast without telling anyone? Just showed up and was like, we're something else now. Hi, welcome to Keep It Weird, the podcast for all things strange and unusual, ancient and archival, regal and rickety, and everything in between. Every time we get together, we chat about something weird. And this week is no exception. Today we're going to be marveling over ancient metals, screaming over CERN, howling at the moon, and trying to hold on to our brains as they are blown out of our heads with some crazy, mind-blowing facts. That was darker when it came out of my mouth than when I wrote it down.
Okay.
But most of all, today we will be celebrating one of the greatest weirdos on the planet, my Earth, my Moon, and my Stars, award-winning Mom of the Year for 5 consecutive years. How does she do it, folks? My BFF and co-host is turning another year older, but she'll never catch up to me. My name is Ashley, and here's the birthday girl herself, Lauren.
Hey, weirdos. Hi.
Happy birthday. It is early for us and late for the listeners, but happy birthday in between now and when this episode is released.
Ooh. Gemini season, which
Gemini season
can be controversial because people don't understand us, but for those of you who get it, love you.
I have someone special who wants to say happy birthday as well.
Put him in a crawl space. Put him in a crawl space. Put him in a crawl space.
You can't play it anymore.
It's my water demon.
What?
Thank
Thank you, Water Demon. I hear that and I receive that. That was really nice.
Receive the water demon's love.
Will always be one of the best moments ever. Because Ashley and I have chatted about this before, where it's like, it definitely seems like something was happening. We were in a glitch. We had Ashley in another realm saying it. Like, I don't know. But what I love the most is if she actually just did it. And the thought of Jimmy just like continuing his story and
continuing to talk and like not acknowledging and here's the thing, that was back when we shared one mic. We were right next to each other. I would have been shouting that in his face. Just went right through it, didn't even acknowledge it, which is why I think we didn't hear it at the time.
It's fine, Water Demon. Thank you for the birthday wishes.
You're so welcome. Okay, so before we open the show, I have to flash back to our shenanigans earlier today.
There's 2 of them across the creek at the big rocks.
Oh my god. Well, here's the thing.
I like have to call Alex in, like I can't do anything.
My bug is gone.
Like I was a high idiot and I looked up as if we were in the same room.
And you also had a bug.
Not a bug. Satan himself.
Don't kill it. Just let her live.
No. Okay,
let her live her life.
Can I please call Alex up though? I can't. Oh, he's big. He's right above me. Oh my god. I'm gonna call him.
You have a phobia.
I do. You know this. You should anyway.
Well, I know you don't like them. I didn't know you had a phobia of them. You're like freaking out.
I don't. Well, he's just like right above me and he's real big.
Hello.
You have to come get. I was gonna say kill, but Ashley told me not to. Can you come get a spider to release into the wild, please?
Yes, okay.
Thank you. See you in a sec. Oh my god, it's crawling. Oh! And now Wilder's here. It's a family affair.
Are you calling Dad?
Yeah, because look. See, he doesn't like it.
You guys.
We're the cover of a horror movie. Okay, that's big.
It's kind of big, yeah.
Okay. We'll all be able. Oh! I know we can't hear her. It's a bummer. Oh, Alex! Put this back in. Okay. Oh, Alex, where is it?
In this tissue.
Hi. Sorry.
Hello.
Sorry if I was being too dramatic for a second. Okay, I love you, but you have to go out so I can record. Love you so much. Oh.
The saga.
I wish we had been recording from the moment that you said the bug thing. I'm sad that we weren't.
Just to refresh, what happened was we were chatting and I happened to look up and I saw a bug on my ceiling and I glanced up and I saw it and then I started talking again and I looked back up and it was gone. And as I was looking up, Lauren, for some reason, was like,
I thought I was in the room with Ashley, so I was like, where?
Where's the bug? But she also had a bug.
Not
She
a
had
bug.
spider. Supposedly it was big. It was so big.
We're gonna check the tapes because I think you started recording when I flashed the camera up. It was big, and even Alex, who always calls me a wimp, came into the room and goes, it's kind of big.
Okay, that's fine.
Like,
It did
I
not
was
look
like,
big
come
on the
on.
camera, but everything looks smaller on the camera. It's like when you try and take a picture of the moon.
Yes, that's actually a great comparison. When you try to
Uh-huh.
get the moon, you're like, why does it look like the smallest circle that's ever existed?
You'll take a picture of a supermoon and it's like a fucking star.
Which we were actually together the night that happened. We were forced to go outside by my nerdy husband.
Your husband made us walk all the way outside.
And we were like,
it's the
I
moon,
was
Alex.
asleep. I was busy.
But here's the thing. Where's my bug? Did I just have a psychic vision of your bug?
That's what I've been trying to say
Because
this
my
entire time, and I
bug
feel like
does
you're
not
just trying to make it a
exist.
cute, funny story, and I'm trying to be like, your bug has disappeared, and it flew onto my screen and became a scary spider.
Guys, you know why this is happening.
It's the Amityville horror.
Did bring up the Amityville horror
Amityville
because it is sitting right next to me. A little plug for the other podcast I'm on, the Losers Club. We are going through Danse Macabre, which
Making a
Nice.
logo for losers.
Nice. I just watched the Brett Favre documentary on Netflix, so I'm feeling really sporty.
Great.
Well, and that seemed like a sports logo. Anyways, we're going through the Danse Macabre, which is the book where Stephen King talks about fiction and all the fiction that's inspired him. And one of the books he was inspired by
One of my Muppet books
is Amityville Horror, which is why we talked about it. And I have to ask you, do you hear about the shenanigans that Annabelle is getting up to?
No. No, seriously, what's happening? I'm scared.
Listen to this. How many times, and I don't care what your opinion is on Ed and Lorraine Warren, okay? We all have them. We're all probably right about them.
Hmm.
Whatever. How many times did those two people tell us not to fuck around with Annabelle?
I mean, the most times.
Don't fuck around with her. Don't move her.
All the damn time.
Don't take her out of her case.
She was kept in her case.
Don't try to communicate with her.
Don't look at her. Don't touch her. Don't talk to her.
So what happens? Ed and Lorraine, they pass away.
Somebody touched her.
Annabelle is currently on a United States tour, going city to city in the United States for the first time, being moved around the country. She goes down to New Orleans for, I don't know, a couple days. Do you know what's happening in New Orleans right now? A plantation burned to the ground. 9 prisoners escaped from prison.
9?
including like murderers and rapists.
Have we caught them?
We've caught 3, I think, or 2.
Okay, well, hopefully by the time this episode airs, we've caught more. My God.
And then Marie Laveau's house burns.
No.
One of the places she lived previously in the French Quarter.
And that
My
shouldn't
bug.
even be the thing I'm most upset. You found it? I looked up again. I don't live in your office.
It's not a psychic vision. I do have a bug. He must have crawled behind something.
I mean, I'm still looking for the spider's egg sac and where all the
Lord.
babies are.
So Annabelle goes to New Orleans, and what happens? Whole place burns to the fucking ground. They are having Annabelle caused a Ghostbuster-like shit show in NOLA. She let all those spirits out.
So, people fucked around and found out.
Fafo.
Like, you were told. You were told not to
You were
fuck
told.
with Annabelle. You did. And now she's wreaking havoc on Nolans.
You take the country's most haunted doll next to Robert, the doll, and you take it to the most haunted place in our country.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is fine.
I know. I was going to say, Annabelle's thriving there.
She's thriving. She's living her best life.
Let's go.
It is sort of around the thinnest veil time. Like, Beltane is technically Halloween's other half. Like, if Halloween's the equinox or the equator, like, it's the other side of the equator. Like, it's also the thinnest veil on this side, spring into summer. Or winter into spring, rather.
Shout out to Laura LaRue, our resident Green Witch, who teaches us these
Shout out to
things.
Laura. She teaches us about all the magic.
Give her little inserts into these episodes. Yeah, that is kind of crazy. So the veil is thin. Annabelle is raging, raving, taking some ecstasy on the dance floor. But yeah, people never should have taken her.
Drinking out of a boot.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you do in New Orleans? I haven't been in New Orleans yet. That's on my bucket list.
I don't know. That seems more like Texas, but Nolans.
Oh, well. Boy, that bug is interesting. I just wish I knew what it was.
I want you to capture it because I'm scared.
Oh, sure. Let's see if you can see him.
I see nothing. Oh, wait. No, I see nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you're in a real bad position to, like, view any bugs.
I mean, yes. When we look at each other's ceilings, it's not the greatest. But the
maybe
fact
that's a
that you
testament- maybe
saw the
that's a
spider.
testament to how big your spider was. I'll have to review the footage. I will review the footage, and I will compare and contrast.
When I flashed it to the ceiling, you still went like, oh, there it is. And just now, I couldn't see your bug. So if you tell me that spider ain't big. Oh, I can't breathe. What are you talking about? Is this a good segue?
Mm-hmm.
Big old spiders. Speaking of.
Speaking of spiders. Okay.
Wait, what's for real though? What's your topic? Who can we segue into besides neither of us?
I'm gonna go.
I think
I'm gonna
you
do
should.
mine.
I don't think I'm ready.
I don't think I'm ready. I think I need to drink some water. I think I need to cool off, coach. Take a knee. There's that Brett Favre documentary again.
You are such an athlete.
I'm sporty.
Hey, sports fans, it's Ashley.
Hey, sports fans, it's me. I can tell you 2 things about sports. Brett Favre played for the Green Bay Packers. And he sent a picture of his dick to a girl who didn't want it.
I know, I'm like, hey.
Number 1 sports fan.
The Cubs finally won a World Series a couple years ago after many years, and then I'm like, and somebody at Duke University sent dick pics to people. Those are like the 2 things I know.
I love how you don't even know the year. You're like, some years ago, an event happened.
Let me guess, because it was right before my sister had Josie, which is weird that I remember that. 2018. No.
I don't know. I can neither confirm nor deny.
Ashley,
How will I know? I'm not a Cubs fan.
I know.
I'm a Cards fan.
But I feel like you'd still know because they're a rival. When did the Cubs? 2016! Bitch! This episode won't be able to happen. Okay, you talk and I will react.
Hey, you talk, I'll listen. Okay. Here we go. From primitive tools to lost tombs, our history is a mystery that should be enjoyed with champagne wishes and caviar dreams. It's Ancient Artifacts with Addie Rife. Addie Rife.
You are so good at it! Every time.
I specifically found a story that would fit into an ancient artifacts because I wanted to do one so bad.
I know that you love doing it so much, but it also feels like, even if it was in your subconscious, that you did it for me for my birthday because I love when you speak in that accent. And you know, I think I've done only one ancient artifacts because I've been terrified of the accent.
No, it's so much fun. Storms. Illinois has been getting hit by storms, girl.
Okay, the only reason I know
People
that is
died.
because some kid who was checking into school today, his random ass uncle was visiting, and I'm sorry I'm getting saucy, but it's just so funny that you're like, storms, because everyone I know has been texting me about storms ever since this shaman walked in to like help check in his kid to school, and he was like, "Hi, I'm Gio's Uncle Robin. Did you know Illinois has been getting a lot of storms?" And I didn't even say I was from Illinois, but he like looked into my soul, and I was like, "Oh yeah, my family's from there. I'll have to text them and make sure everything's okay." And he was like, "Yeah, you should. The storms in Illinois."
What?
And then he just walked away and then was like, "Nice to meet you, Teacher Lauren," and left. And then I get all these texts from like my high school friends
real?
and my family in our group text randomly, like a minute after that, being like, "Okay, I hope everybody's buckling down for the storms." And I was like, why did this man just come in here and say that to me? And he was someone's uncle.
Should I be worried? When was this?
Definitely yesterday. It was not today, because that's why it was weird, is they texted yesterday and then today it was like even worse. So yesterday he came in at like 9 a.m. I asked his dad, who I'm actually friends with, the kid's dad, the uncle, so brother-in-law. I asked him later through text, like, is Uncle Robin from Illinois? He like really wanted to talk to me about Illinois this morning, and he was like, no, he's from Idaho. I was like, that's not even that close. Like, you shouldn't know. So anyway, this is the dumbest story. I love that all this will be cut out, but maybe it'll be for Patreon.
This is not the dumbest story. The world needs to know that Illinois is about to get whipped.
And he wasn't like saying like they're gonna die. It was just so weird that he like brought it up to me, and I never once was like, hello, I'm Teacher Lauren and I'm from Illinois. Like, I just was like, hello. And he was like, the storms.
Were you wearing a shirt, an Illinois shirt?
I had our La Playa preschool shirt on,
okay,
with an apron over it, so you couldn't even see what was on my shirt. And he was just like, you heard about Illinois? And he didn't even say it creepy. He talked like a person. But now that I'm reliving, because I was just like, that's so weird. And then like my family texting in the group text being like, storms. It was just the weirdest timing. Idaho man, Uncle Robin. Fuck off. Okay. You just have to tell your story.
Well, now I'm scared of this storm that's rolling through. All right, listen, Addie.
This is the worst episode.
Addie, we're getting to it, girl.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Ancient artifacts.
Hello, Ancient Artifacts with Addie Rife. Today I'm going to be teaching you about the Iron Pillar of Delhi.
Ooh.
This is a little different from past ancient artifacts because this isn't something that was lost to time that we found. It's been on display for at least 1,600 years.
Jeez, oh man. All right. Well, definitely different.
So this is an iron pillar. It's 23 feet 8 inches high, and it's about 16 inches in diameter, and it weighs approximately 12,000 pounds. It's 6 tons.
Oof.
It was originally made for a temple of Vishnu. You and I know Vishnu as the blue guy with 4 arms.
Familiar.
Christians would most identify him as the Holy Spirit of the Trinity. But Vishnu was the preserver of the universe. So Brahma was the creator, Shiva was the destroyer, Vishnu maintained the balance. And let me get a drink of my water. I'm getting a little dry.
It's a little dry.
Getting a little dry in here. Must be the storm.
It's the weather.
It's the weather, probably. We aren't 100% sure where this pillar originally stood. We know it's been moved to where it is today. It's currently on display in the courtyard of Qutub Minar, which is a beautiful complex that holds a ton of like Indian monuments and tombs. And it's at the location of the very first mosque ever built in India after the Islamic conquest. The mosque no longer exists, but part of the temple still stands today. So it's just like this area that you can go and just see a bunch of Indian history. It's very cool.
That's awesome.
Most historians think that the original location was likely the Udayagiri, which is most famous for the Udayagiri caves, which I could have sworn you talked about on the show before, or maybe a guest talked about on the show before. But the Udayagiri caves are a group of 20 rock cut caves that are just insane. And these caves were a center of astronomy and Hindu calendar related activities.
It sounds so familiar.
Yes, and you've definitely seen them before. It's gorgeous. They are meticulously crafted and known for being architectural wonders. Like they are
Love.
incredible. How did they do it? Now, the reason they believe the pillar could have originated there is because the pillar is covered in Sanskrit inscriptions, and they refer to a king named Chandra, which most historians believe is Chandragupta II, who ruled the Gupta Empire in central India between 380 and 414 AD.
Ooh,
That's a long time ago.
that's a long ass time ago.
Because those caves, the Udayagiri caves, Chandragupta II is the one who paid for a lot of it. He was a patron of those caves. So he paid for that work to be done. My nose is bothering me.
What's happening to it?
It just got like a little itchy, and then I kept thinking of the bug, and I was like, what if a bug crawled in my nose?
Oh no.
Just
And that's the
die.
worst. Like, and then you have the fixation on it of like, no, there's no bug.
What if there is, though?
No, there's not one in there. Actually, don't.
I feel like I'm gonna have a nosebleed or something. Like something weird's happening over here. Anyways, okay. So those caves were paid for by Chandragupta II in the 4th century. So they're kind of just putting 2 and 2 together.
Okay.
And there really isn't any historical evidence of where the pillar first stood, but they think probably maybe possibly there. But there's another king named Chandra as well, Chandragupta Maurya, who ruled in 320 BC, which you're like, holy shit, obviously it's not him, because I'm pretty sure we wouldn't even know how to do this in 320 BC.
Well, that's what we always say, though. And then these ancient aliens just decide that they can do anything.
I don't think it was aliens. It's impossible to date this iron pillar because we literally don't even know how they made it. Because you know how iron rusts?
Yeah.
And it's a real pain in the ass, and there's a reason we don't build bridges out of iron anymore. We build it out of steel.
Because they'll fall apart, like the Mothman prophecies, of
Yeah.
course.
Iron corrodes and rusts and weakens and breaks and disintegrates. But this iron doesn't.
See, so what does that mean? Where am I? What year was this actually built? Who are the people who made it? Do we actually know the real history? And is it actually iron, or is it made of the same stuff as the sphere that just landed?
We don't know how to do this anymore. They literally had a technological advantage that we have lost to time. We don't know how to do it anymore.
So how are you not saying this is ancient aliens? Because this is what we have said before.
Well, because a lot of knowledge got lost from ancient people. Like they knew how to do a lot of things that like we discovered we could do again.
Yeah, but this feels really intense.
It is really intense, actually. It's super intense. This isn't just some like niche thing I found. This is like the Pillar of Delhi is like it's one of the most important historical monuments in India's history. So, here's the thing. This iron is not covered in a protective paint like the Eiffel Tower is. It's simply a non-rusting iron.
Excuse me, what is the Eiffel Tower made of?
So the Eiffel Tower is made of iron, but it had the reason the Eiffel Tower isn't just completely crumbling.
I went up in that.
Well, the reason it's not good, it's it's reinforced. First of all, it's reinforced, but also the iron has a protective paint. They have to repaint it and repaint it.
The
and
paint
repaint it
will
and
hold
repaint
me
it.
up when everything crumbles. Paint?
I didn't make you go up in it. I wasn't there. I didn't do this to you.
I'm just venting. It's not your fault. But I am
This wasn't
livid
me.
that we just looked at each other and were like, iron, that sure doesn't hold up shit. And then you continued to say, and the Eiffel Tower, as we all know, is made out of iron. And I sat at the TED Talk and cried because I hate heights anyway, and I hate spiders. And tonight I have been faced with them.
Tonight I am facing all of my fears.
Okay, what were you gonna say?
Who knows?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I derailed us.
No, I'm just kidding. I can find my place.
Something about the Eiffel Tower.
So, metallurgists and scientists have been studying this pillar regularly since 1912. And what they have found is that when the pillar is exposed to any type of moisture, and as the pillar ages and rusts, chemical changes involving phosphates actually create a thin, rust protective iron hydrogen phosphate hydrate that coats the surface of the pillar.
What?
So when most rust is exposed to moisture, or when most iron is exposed to moisture, it like dries it out. It starts to rust. Like that's what happens. It disintegrates. It like wears it down.
Right.
But with this, for some reason, whatever it is made out of, because it's not treated with anything. So whatever they found to make this iron pillar out of, it creates its own protective sheen that keeps it from rusting for
That's
thousands
crazy.
of years.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. And I don't believe aliens made it. I think they knew how to do something that we don't know how to do anymore.
And now we're big old dumbos.
We're dumb. We're dumber than we. Here's the thing. And I notice this the older I get and the more knowledge that I accrue, I can look back and realize that like our ego is so much bigger than the actual knowledge we hold as a species. There's
Oh,
so much we
yes.
actually don't effing know.
We have no fucking idea.
We're guessing. We are guessing. But so many people are like, yep, that's it. Because I learned it in 4th grade.
We got it. Nailed it.
And I never have to learn anything again.
And everything I learned is true, and I won't change, and I won't evolve.
It's wild out here. It's wild. Anyways, so we no longer know how to do this. If we did, if we knew how to do this, we wouldn't have so many rusty iron structures crumbling all around us all the time. This is literally an ancient technology that has been lost to time. We don't know how to recreate it.
Well, we better figure it out!
We believe it has something to do with the higher phosphorus and lower sulfur and magnesium content of the iron ore that was used, but at this point, it's a guess. We don't know.
Total guess. That's crazy.
But this iron pillar has resisted rusting for at least 1,600 years and possibly even 2,300 years. And that's what makes this monument one of the most important objects in Indian history. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Stop.
We did it, Joe. We did it, Joe. We saved America.
I'd like to thank this cup of bourbon for giving me the courage.
We're losing the crowd. We're losing the crowd. We have to get.
D-D-D-D-D-D.
Hello,
Hey.
baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my ragtime gal. So, now, here's the thing. Speaking of ancient artifacts and metal, we have to talk about this. This is a real throwback moment for us. We have huge news. This is actually breaking news out of Switzerland. Physicists working on the ALICE experiment at the Large Hadron Collider just accidentally manufactured the Philosopher's Stone.
What? Harry Potter?
Ugh. That's the Sorcerer's Stone. You need to get it together. You need to, hey, lock it up.
The first book was called The Philosopher's Stone, but then they changed it because they realized the Philosopher's Stone is a real thing. All right, continue.
Oh, see, that's Harry Potter lore I don't know anything about. Okay. Oh.
I tried to wink, and my eyes both just went.
Hey, girl. Hey.
You want a drink?
You smell what I'm stepping in? Okay. If you guys remember, way back when we did our alchemy series, the Philosopher's Stone is the ultimate goal of alchemy, turning base metals into gold. Also, the elixir for eternal life. But today we're going to focus on the other part.
Sure.
Which is,
you know, that old thing.
Turning metals into gold. Essentially, what's happening is the ALICE experiment is designed to study the conditions of the Big Bang. Basically, they're trying to recreate the Big Bang, which honestly sounds super dangerous, and I wish we wouldn't.
Yeah, I'd rather not, but...
Do we have to?
You know, if anyone's taking my vote, I'd like to say no thanks.
Do we have to recreate it?
Could we not? Thank you.
Do we have to? So here we are in fucking Switzerland, smashing these lead atoms together at the speed of light in order to mimic the insane explosion that created life. And they got gold. So to break it down the best I can with my bachelor's degree in theater, turning lead into gold seems impossible.
Sure.
They are two completely different elements, so no amount of chemistry can turn one into the other. But the difference between an atom of lead and an atom of gold is 3 protons.
That can't be true.
That's true. 3 protons. Lead has 3 more of them than gold does. So, could we remove 3 protons from lead and make gold?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But it's not easy. We can't just pluck them out. It would take an electric field 1,000,000 times stronger than the electric field that lightning creates to push or pull a proton out of a nucleus.
Whoa. Okay.
Woof.
Woof.
Woof. 1,000,000 times stronger than that. But what they found was when they're trying to recreate the Big Bang, for some reason,
Why?
when these nuclei have a head-on collision in the particle accelerator, they're completely destroyed. But if one lead nucleus grazes past another instead of crashing right into each other, the electric field between them is enormous, and it makes the nuclei vibrate and occasionally spit out some protons. So if one of those lead nuclei spits out exactly 3 protons, the lead nucleus has turned to gold.
So that's incredibly rare.
Yes, but it's happening every time.
Okay. Like it's a guaranteed thing.
I mean, we're not going to like start cheering or like throw a parade because we've now created free gold for life. Like, no, we haven't. We've created a gold nucleus, which is like the tiniest thing in fucking history. It's not even observable to the human eye, but technically, they have done something alchemists have been trying to do for thousands of years, and they did it by accident.
Wow.
Incredible.
Incredible. Bailamos. Let the rhythm take you over. Bailamos.
Te quiero. I want burrito.
That song
Had a hold on us as a country.
I mean, yes. Oh my God, it had a hold on us. But right now, I sang it because somebody randomly played it on a TikTok. This is what I'm saying is why
Your brain.
TikTok runs our lives. So, like, I watched it earlier, and so now my entire evening, like washing dishes, cooking dinner, I was just like, bailamos. And so just now when you said increíble, different language, like not even, like offensive for me to even connect it. But for some reason you said increíble, and my mind was just like, oh yeah,
bailamos.
bailamos. So I had to. And also that felt like the wrong song to sing in the moment. But
Yeah, wrong reaction to what I said.
like bailamos to the proton.
I literally was just like, hey, they literally did what alchemists tried to do for thousands of years of human history. And your reaction was, bailamos. Over, bailamos. Te quiero.
Te quiero. I don't know. I feel like
Honestly, like,
gotta connect.
kind of appropriate. Like, your brain just, like, went, nope. I won't accept that new information.
Well, because you also saw how mad I was getting, like, listening to it, and I was like, so we could just do this? I think my brain was like, oh, protect yourself, trauma recovery. Yeah. Bailamos.
The world is growing too fast for me. We're going to take you somewhere nice real quick. Let you recoup.
Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get them peepers? Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get that fur? Ow! Jeepers creepers, or as I like to call it, thank you, I hate it. Tonight we are talking about clinical lycanthropy.
That's so wild.
I felt like it needed an echo. Lycanthropy. Oh!
Where's Billy when you need him?
Oh, where is Billy when we need him for the wolves? Which we have talked about people who have thought they were werewolves over time, but I don't think I realized because we didn't have enough time. When we're with Billy, we all are going on 1,000 tangents out of fun and love.
Out of pure fun and love, yeah.
We never have enough time to dive into it, but we've touched on it. But I was not aware that this could really happen to you, where it's not just like this old wives' tale. It's not this urban legend. Like, there are people who have legitimately thought they were wolves, but also it's not always wolves, but just like a furry like beast, and that like their whole world is warped by something in their brain, and they think they have become a beast.
Yeah, think about like James McAvoy's Split style.
Yes, it is sort of like the multiple personalities, and like, but he truly turned into like a monster in some of those.
Yeah, that's true. I guess just kidding. He could like climb up walls. I guess that was an extreme example.
No, because I'm like, he kind of did have like, I mean, there was supernatural elements, it seemed, but it also seemed like one of his personalities like was beast over
Yeah.
person. So actually, he could have had this. So, like many disorders we've covered on the show, and that like Julia and I have definitely been covering lately, we've kind of been doing a series on our Keep It Tiered episodes. Little plug for that bonus episode. We've been talking about, and again, Ashley and I have too, of like there's Capgras syndrome, where it's when you think a spouse or family member or another individual has been replaced by somebody else. It's like very imposter. It's very the movie Changeling.
It's like
Changeling, imposter,
Yeah,
all
for
of it,
sure.
where it's like you're not who you say you are. And that can also kind of go the reverse, in which like you believe yourself to be an imposter. And then there's also Fragoli syndrome, which is when people believe that strangers are familiar people to them, but just in disguise. And then there's reverse Fragoli, where the patient will believe that they are an imposter and other people don't recognize them. So it's different from Capgras, where it's like you believe yourself to be an imposter, but everyone can see. And then Fragoli is where you're fucking an imposter in your own brain, but you're like, oh, you can't tell that I'm fake because you see my skin mask. And the fact that these things exist in people's brains, this is where the Jeepers
Why?
Creepers comes in for me.
Why would you do this this week? Why would you do this to us?
It's terrible, but I thought it would be really nice. So, there's a small number of people, even though it feels like a movie, who have this in the world. Clinical lycanthropy. It is rare, it is mysterious, it is a mental disorder where you believe you're turning into an animal, but more specifically, a wolf. So, most patients believe, besides wolf, that they could be a snake, a frog, or a hyena. And I'm like, I hate that we have a list. Because enough people, as rare as it is, have come in and said these animals.
A frog?
Because it was like, on a smaller list, there's bees also. And I'm like, okay, well, I need to hear about the bees, but it's such a small list.
Yeah, I need a number. Like, did two guys say?
Yeah, I want a number. Was it just like Joe? Was it one guy, Joe from like Scottsdale? Like who?
I can't deal with it if it's but a frog.
Frog? I can't. So I'm not okay with it, even if it's not wolf. But also, like, yeah, we've seen the movies of the werewolves, but like, I don't want that. I don't want it. And like, all jokes aside, like, I can make my terrifying jokes, but this is real and it's connected to mental illness. Apparently, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder. Really, no surprise there, because not that those lead into shape shifting. And actually, Julie and I, again, talked about this on our recent bonus episode, but we talked about how people used to, I feel like it's become better now, say that schizophrenia and bipolar disorder were like, you were two different people. And we have learned that that's not the case. Like, yes, there are hallucinations and like shifts, major shifts in emotions going on, but like it's not the same as multiple personality or like disassociating in a way. And so like we talked about that a lot, but like I can also see how schizophrenia and bipolar, in the way that they can cause visions and kind of shifts in reality, like how that would open a world to be a part of this and being like, I'm suddenly in this other era where I'm a wolf. Again, it's super rare. It's fewer than 100 well documented cases globally in the past century, but still, like, it's close to 100. Like, it has happened. So you'll basically, getting into the effects, like there's the transformation beliefs, like your core belief is like what you are experiencing or have experienced is warped, and you're suddenly like, no, I've always been this person who can shapeshift. Like, you are totally warped. You even start to experience physical changes, which this is the craziest thing, where I'm sort of like, can we wish hard enough or feel hard enough? Can you manifest something enough that like your cells could slightly change? Because not that people are actually becoming these creatures, but usually like teeth will change and hair will grow more, or sometimes even the opposite. Even if there is the werewolf delusion, like hair will fall out. So it's not saying that you are becoming the wolf, but it's like your hormones are like changing or something in you is changing. And like scientists are wondering if it's because of the power in your brain. So like there's hair changes, there's nail changes, there's teeth changes.
What do you mean by teeth changes?
Like again, it could be like they're clenching because they're mentally ill, but like there's like chipping and like what people say is like sharpening. Like they swear their like fang teeth are changing shape, but that could absolutely be from like grinding away in their nightmares because
Yeah.
they're trapped in this brain. So there no one is saying like, "Oh yeah, your teeth will physically change," but they're studying and they're like, "The teeth have changed. We're looking into that."
Well, and you know what I thought about? You know how the internet is a fucking nightmare and it shouldn't exist
Sure,
and
sure,
it's
sure.
ruining our lives?
Right.
So
Definitely.
Rihanna is pregnant with
Her third.
third with her third
Mhm.
baby. Congratulations, Riri. You're the most beautiful woman who's ever lived.
Obsessed with you.
You're so talented, and you're a boss bitch.
This has become a Rihanna love fan podcast, and we love you so much.
She is pregnant with her third child, and her teeth have changed. She doesn't have the same teeth that she used to have. They are a little more spread out. One looks like it's chipped a little bit, but like they don't look like they did when she was 30.
Mm-hmm.
But she was 30.
But also, when you have children, especially multiple children, your hormones will change the health, not the health, because your teeth aren't unhealthy, but they'll change your teeth. Your teeth will change. Your nose will grow.
No, for sure. And like I think I talked about this on like our pregnancy episode where we talked, it wasn't even just pregnancy, it was just like the human body, but it was when I was pregnant, so you had me share some things. And one of the facts I shared was that my teeth had changed. Like my gums would bleed every time I brushed my teeth. And I know that people's gums bleed when they brush their teeth and like things happen and like people have gum disease, stuff happens, but like every single time I brushed my teeth, they were bleeding, and that never happened until I was pregnant. And then like the plaque buildup was way more intense, and like I felt like I could literally like scratch it off every day, which is like so gross to say, but I just remember going into my OB and being like, this is gonna sound crazy. I know you're like looking at my cervix.
I'm the only pregnant woman who has ever said this, probably ever in history.
I just laughed because she was like down at my vagina, and I was like, so I know you're inspecting my cervix, but if you could tell me about my teeth. And then she just like she rose up and was like, oh yeah, like that is so normal when you're pregnant. Like your gums get inflamed and like your teeth can't like clear away the bacteria as quick, and like you really have to be on your dental health when you're pregnant because so much changes from your hormones. And I was just like, cool. One other thing that is crazy about pregnancy, but it's like that's what hormones do, and that's why you can kind of see like, yeah, this shit makes sense.
You also can't get your teeth bleached when you're pregnant. So if you are someone who regularly bleaches, like a celebrity who's in front of the camera, who regularly bleaches their teeth, like fucking, are you kidding me? This is one of the most beautiful women in the entire world, and people are like, "What's wrong with her face?"
She's pregnant and like things
so
have
her
changed.
face is different.
Hormones, things change.
She's pregnant for the third time.
She's carrying her third child, and
Get
she
outta
is like
here.
one of the most phenomenal musicians, and she's so beautiful, and everyone can fuck off. But even so, that is a perfect example like of how our body changes, like from hormones and these little fluctuations. You can see if like a lot of things are out of whack, there could be a shift.
Whether it's starting in their hormones and affecting their psyche, or starting in
the
their psyche
reverse.
and affecting their hormones,
That's what I'm saying.
is what we need to.
I know, which
answer.
like we can't figure out because this is so rare, and it's sort of like,
It's so rare.
okay, this is kind of like a sidestep from this other thing, so it's just so difficult.
And do you have to have both in order to be considered
yes, because
having this? Otherwise, it would just be a delusion.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what's, again, tough about it because it's been so rare. But like every case has been paired with either schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, like a manic depressive episode, like a very deep depression that is having like has had moments of psychosis connected to it. So like if you're just like an anxiety girly and you go in and you take like you do your therapy and you take your Xanax now and then when you have panic attacks, like if you suddenly like that girly started saying she was a werewolf, then it would be like, okay, did somebody sell you Molly? Did somebody give you like what have you taken? Because that would be so much crazier if it just like came out of
Yeah.
nowhere. I don't know if that's what you were saying, but that's where I'm at.
I forgot what my question was. That was past Ashley. Here's the thing. You were talking and I had to fix my hair, so I heard some of it.
And then
My hair
a
was whacked.
zebra walked in. I'm just gonna like surprise you at the end of the story. So some patients will get animalistic behaviors where they start like howling and growling because they just feel this urge to do so. That is also connected to like aggressive and violent behaviors because there is such a delusional belief that you have to be aggressive and you have to protect yourself or that you have to protect like your pack or your family, which is even more wild. So you're sort of under like the wolf control. And so you become aggressive and you can't really help it. And then there are just like compulsions and impulsive behaviors that you can't help that become like, you know, the punch, the hit, the slap, like tied to that aggressive behavior. Also, you're not sleeping, of fucking course, because you think you're becoming a wolf. Potential for self-harm because you might be trying to like rip things out of you that you're seeing. It can get dark and crazy, which again is why it's Jeepers fucking Creepers, because I'm not
no
a fan
kidding.
of this in the slightest. So, okay, what are we looking at here? Like, then when we try to get down to the science, like, what could this possibly be? So, functional brain imaging and an MRI will show that during episodes with somebody who probably has lycanthropy or something similar, those parts of the brain that control body image, like our parietal lobes, will light up in like bizarre ways that people, doctors, scientists, they haven't seen. It's like flashing in a like different coding almost that they haven't seen. So it's like the brain's internal map is getting like kind of rewritten and just like going in a new way. I always think of the game Simon where you have to like press the colors and it was like, oh,
Yeah,
it
and
was blue, green, red, yellow, and now it's yellow, green, blue, red, and like it's getting rewritten. So your brain is like having a glitchy update. We're downloading wolf.jpeg.onlyfans.com. So there's also hyperactivity in areas that manage self-awareness, identity, and perception of movement. So people who might have this going on, their parietal lobes won't just think they're animals, they will feel it, which is why some of those physical side effects are coming. Their voices could change, their posture could change, the way they use their muscles, everything could change. They might start to crawl on all fours, stretching their body in new ways, starting to contort it. And this is all because of the areas it's affecting and like the nerves. So the leading theory is that this is a delusional misidentification syndrome, which is just the brain misfiring and like multiple fronts, perception of self, body image distortion, and cultural beliefs or mythology. Like everything that you hold in your conscious as like, these are my moral values, it can even seep into there. This has really happened. Again, not a lot of cases, but I did just want to touch on a few of the famous ones. One man in the 1980s from Japan came into a clinic claiming his body was beginning to look like a wolf. And when doctors asked, well, how do you know? He said, well, I see it in the mirror and just look at my teeth. And he raised his lip to show a very sharpened tooth or two. Then in France, a woman in her 20s, just like 10 years later, was found crawling on the floor of her apartment, snarling and saying she was a wolf hunting prey. And she was treated for schizophrenia, and she did slowly recover from some of the treatments. But then once like years had passed, she couldn't really remember any of her youth and like definitely didn't remember the wolf episode. But kind of sad that she forgot like her entire childhood, because I think they probably zapped it out of her
Yeah.
with some kind of treatments. And then in South Africa in the 90s, a man believed he was turning into a hyena as punishment from his ancestral spirits. The cultural layer is important to go here because beliefs in shape-shifting exist in so many cultures, and sometimes spiritual or supernatural explanations can mix in with the mental illness, and so people will latch onto it even more and be like, well, this is what my ancestors wanted.
A lot of ancestral trauma
Yes.
built into people.
And that can seep in.
Yeah, like it probably wouldn't be something that happened to me because I don't have anything in my ancestry
That would really affect you in that way.
that would affect me in that way, I don't think. I mean, Italians, do we have any werewolves?
Do we? Do we have any? Tell me. Come down. Yeah, it's, I mean, as rare as it is, I think it's still something interesting to even just be aware of because, I mean, mental health is such a normal discussion now. And by the time this episode comes out, I guess it will still be May. It'll be right before we're starting June, right? Yeah.
Yeah, June.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month, which is lovely. So,
Okay.
like, it's a great time to talk about it. So, I was just going to say, like, mental health, it's so important to take care of it, even if that means medication. I know some people are like, I hope I can tackle this on my own. And I do get that. And there's lots of things you can do for yourself. But, like, if medication is needed, if it's that serious and a doctor is telling you that, like, don't shy away from it only because, like, in these rare instances, these things can exist. And I hate to, like, be on a pharmacy rant here and, like, I don't want to sound like I'm backing that because I do think a lot of natural remedies in certain cases work for people. But it's like when you're not taking care of something so serious in your mental health, I think these things can seep in more than we even know. Because even though these cases are rare, there's so many other like insane mental disorders that can come from depression, anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia. And so, like, again, I don't mean to keep plugging Julie and I's episode, but we touch on a lot of the weirdness and even things she has had to see as a nurse and even in hospice. And it's just like so easily, if something isn't treated or taken care of, because it could also be something more serious where you need like an MRI and like a surgery, like the fantasy and the hallucinations and things can more easily seep in and take care of a vulnerable brain. So it's just one of those things where I'm like, oh my God, I hate that this exists. Luckily it's rare, but also I'm a mentally ill person. And I hope like my brain doesn't become vulnerable to
Yeah.
thinking I'm a fucking animal.
Here's the thing. I'm on meds. Joe's on meds. Lauren's on meds. Meds are the only thing that'll allow me to function in society and be a person.
I would not have a job. I wouldn't be a mom, honestly, which is sad and scary, but like truly, I needed it.
I was unable to function. I got on medication. I can function now. It's pretty dope. It's a journey. It sucks,
Of
but
course.
it is worth it in the end. Also, the thing with mental health, putting it off is so detrimental, not only because like you can end up being affected in other ways, but also like as you get older, just like it gets harder to exercise physically, it also gets harder to alter yourself mentally. You get really, really, really cemented in your ideas and your belief system and what you know to be true.
That's true.
And the older you get, the harder it is. That's why everyone's like, my parents aren't cool anymore. It's like, yeah, they reached the limit.
Yeah, they hit their max. They're
They
all
were like,
done.
I don't need to learn anything else. I don't need to grow anymore. And it's like, actually, you actually really have to. You have to keep working on it. You have to keep working on it till the day you fucking die. Because here's the thing. My grandmother has not spoken to me in 7 years, 8 years.
That's crazy.
9 years.
I know. Every time you remind me of that. Wild.
And it's because she's mentally unwell. She's never taken care of her mental health.
Yeah.
She has my number. She knows she can call me. She tells everyone that I abandoned her. That's fine. I don't care.
That's like become her belief. But that's the thing is like, yeah,
That's what she
it's not,
believes.
you aren't always going to become a werewolf. Like, sorry to be like funny for a second.
No, sometimes you can become like the mean grandma.
Sometimes you just become mean. Yeah, it's like it changes you in a way where you're just like, I'm going to shut off people.
Affects your entire family.
Yeah, it's affecting your friends, your family, everyone around you. You're becoming this crotchety person who you probably were not to start, but
I don't
it's
wanna
like
be
you
that.
weren't treating something. Yeah, so that was like kind of the point I was making at the end of my like insane story about people believing they were animals, but it was also like a way to look inward and be like, I'm so happy that even though I some weeks begrudgingly go to therapy because I'm in a grouchy mood, it's like I'm so happy I'm talking to a therapist. I'm so happy I've found a medication that works after years of trying different things. And I'm just like so happy that I'm open, because if not, I feel like it'd be a dark, weird place. There's a chance I'd be a wolf, honestly.
You might be. Okay, next up, let's share with each other some mind-blowing facts. We are gonna share some facts that are gonna make you want to say,
Put 'em in.
I can't.
First fact. Did you know that capuchin monkeys will use millipedes as mosquito repellent?
What? Do they crush them up onto their body?
Yeah. Yeah, so apparently capuchin monkeys, which are arguably the cutest of the monkeys.
I mean, like, I'll agree.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but in Venezuela, they've been studied crushing and rubbing millipedes into their fur. And like they'll do it on themselves, but they'll also do it on other monkeys. Like there'll be groups of monkeys sharing a millipede and putting it all over their fur. And when scientists researched further, because basically what happened was they would do that and then their eyes would get really glassy and they would sort of be like really calm. So they were like, oh, it's psychedelic. Like maybe they're getting some sort of, they're getting high.
Oh, yeah.
But no, that's not what was happening when they studied what was in the millipedes. When they studied what's in the secretions of these millipedes, they actually contain two different chemicals that are potent mosquito repellents. And mosquitoes in this area carry nasty parasites.
I believe.
Literally, they leave behind eggs of bot flies. So basically, the bot fly eggs get under the skin, under the monkey's skin, and then they create like a festering cyst that eventually bursts open with maggots. So obviously, the monkeys would want to try to prevent that from happening ever. So they use mosquito repellent every rainy season when the mosquitoes are freaking everywhere.
I mean, which is so smart and
It's
beautiful,
so
but I
smart.
do feel a little bad for the millipedes, but
Listen, circle of life, baby.
I know. And also millipedes, like if we're talking about bugs who might be on our ceilings, which I'm still like, that spider
Oh,
definitely like
no.
had a family who's still here, but I'm like, I don't want to see a millipede crawling across. I kind of love the way that monkeys figure their shit out. Like,
Yes.
I'm gonna crush
Same.
a
Proud
fucking
of them.
millipede, and like they get so calm, not because they're high on shrooms, because they're finally like, guess what? A mosquito's not biting me and a parasite isn't eating my soul. I realized, as I'm reading it right now as a high person, that we may have talked about this before, but I'm praying that we haven't, and cut it if we have. And like
Okay.
a lot of people might know this, but I thought it was cool. When caterpillars are inside their cocoon, they liquefy, and the only thing left in the liquid is their imaginal discs, which are groups of cells containing all the information to turn soup into a butterfly.
Unfortunately, I did know that. That's a really unfortunate thing. That's hard to think about.
It is, and it's okay that you knew it, and like even if our listeners know that fact as well,
Just think about it, guys.
I just want you to think about it.
Just like remember it and think about it for a minute.
In preschool, I've been like, as a teacher, been like leading these songs about a caterpillar turning into a butterfly, and like we always just lay under like a scarf. I get out the rainbow scarves and we lay under them, and we're like, we're in our cocoon and we are transforming, and it's such like a beautiful thing, and we dance around. And what if I was like, let's turn into our liquid, kids?
At Halloween, you should get under your silk scarves and be like, and now
we become the caterpillar's brew.
we disintegrate into liquid. Our whole body melts down.
We're gonna be a green soup, but don't worry, little butterfly, bones will shoot out because we have the DNA.
Hey. Hey, sweet girl. Did you say butterfly bones?
I did.
Did you mean it?
I did not. Or did I?
Or did I?
And this is an episode called Butterfly Bones. We flipped the first chapter.
The first chapter. How could she?
But it upsets me, and so you all needed to remember it.
You all have to remember it too. Did you know that Mark Ruffalo once dreamt he had a brain tumor and then did have a brain tumor?
He's a prophetic dreamer like you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I put you in the same category as Mark Ruffalo. You're welcome.
In more ways than one. Apparently, like 20 years ago, which, believe it or not, is 2004, not 1984. So, fuck me, I guess.
But I'm only a 25-year-old teen mom.
But I'm 22. I don't know what you're talking about. So Ruffalo was shooting a movie called The Last Castle. And on the last week of shooting, he had this crazy dream that was unlike any other dream he'd ever had. He said it wasn't a voice in his head that told him. It was simply a knowing, just pure knowledge. You have a brain tumor and you need to deal with it immediately. He had no symptoms of a brain tumor, but he did see a doctor right away, and they sent him for a scan, and it turned out he had a golf ball-sized mass behind his left ear.
That's wild. Like, he felt so strongly after the dream that it was like, I must.
Yeah. Which now I'm like, oh my God, I've been having all of these ear problems. And like, I did have a CAT scan, but the CAT scan was like just of like my sinuses in my ear. So I'm like, well, could they see behind my ear?
Right. I know. Like, did you look everywhere?
I mean, I'm going to a neurologist next, so
You
I guess
are?
they're going to look at the rest of my head.
Okay, good. Because I need you to have a scan of everything. Because I do think scary things hide. And you have to do, like, a full thing.
I know. And my head's been fucked up for like 7 months, and it's not getting better. Anyways, the surgery he had to remove this mass carried a 20% chance of killing the nerve on his left side of his face, meaning he would be paralyzed on the left side of his face, and a 70% chance of losing the hearing in his left ear. Luckily, his facial paralysis actually resolved itself within a year after the surgery, but he is still deaf in his left ear.
He is? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's deaf in his left ear. The mass ended up being benign, but yeah, he has no idea why he had that dream or what the heck that was all about, but he's grateful, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Do you relate to that? Do you think, like, I have prophetic dreams like this? I mean, I know you haven't found, like, a major health issue, but you've had prophetic dreams.
No. I have a lot of revelations in my dreams, though, about just personal stuff and, like, the podcast and, like, ideas for things. Like, I feel like I get a lot of downloads from the astral plane when I'm sleeping, man.
I love that, bro. Yeah.
No, it's happened to other people. I know there was a woman who, oh no, maybe she could smell cancer. It doesn't matter. I don't have these in my notes, and there is no possible chance that I will get through trying to tell a story without notes right now.
I so get that.
So we need to move on.
But in conclusion, there are other people
There are other people.
This one is going to be the most boring for Ashley, except that, like, you're enough in, like, pop culture that, like, you know this exists even though you don't watch kids shows. So there is a dog named Bluey.
And a Bluey.
It's an Australian lovely show about Bluey and his family, or her family. So there is actually a real Bluey that this is based on. So again, this is like parent. It's the dumbest.
Just for you guys, huh?
Okay, listen, it's exciting for you too. I'm just saying why. It is probably the dumbest story I've ever told on here, but I was excited. So there was an Australian cattle dog named Bluey who was in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the oldest dog ever verified on planet Earth at 29 years old.
Wow.
I have never heard of a dog living even close to that. I feel like the oldest I'd ever heard of was like 18 or 19, and that is still crazy. That's like cat age, but not dogs. It's crazy. 29
That's
years
wild.
old from 1910 to 1939. So it was like 29 years and 5 months to be exact. Bluey was born in June 1910 in Rochester, Victoria, Australia, and was acquired by a man named William Hall in 1910. And after William died, Bluey was passed to his son Les and his wife, and it is claimed that Bluey worked as a cattle and sheepdog for 20 years before retiring. And according to the Guinness Book of World Records, Bluey was the oldest dog ever verified, and before being euthanized due to lots of health issues, which I'm even like, euthanized?
Probably should have been euthanized a long fucking time ago, guys. You know that dog wasn't functioning.
How did Bluey not die on her own? I'm also like, immortal dog?
Yeah, are we sure that she would have died?
29 and euthanized? Hello? Bluey was a loyal dog for most of her life. Surprisingly, I know I'm like, I would feel like when she hit 20, she was useless. But no, it was like only the last like 3 years of her life was she really like down for the count. And then the family was starting to be like, oh, all right. But she was a very loyal dog, loved running around the backyard, incredibly kind to everyone she met. And she was just known as the dog that like loved her owner, that it was just one of those things where the owner would have like left on a train and the dog would wait at the train station till they came back, like soulmates. So Bluey was a dream. I see why a cartoon show that is beloved by all was made after this dog.
Was it just made in her honor? Because in the show Bluey, there is no like owner.
There isn't. They're just a family. And I think it's a, like, technically it's a different kind of dog. Like, I don't even know if it's the same dog from the story, but I think it was just like Australia, Bluey, good, wonderful dog, and that just kind of inspired the show. But it was just like a cute thing to know, even if it's like inspired by, not directly true.
Cute.
But also, I think that was an immortal dog. Because to be 29 and they're like, well, we have to just put her down.
And this was 1939,
Yes.
so everybody hold on to your butts. They shot that dog in the head.
Actually, that's the stuff you don't say out loud. No, but isn't that nuts? It was like that they had to finally be like, I guess we have to do it. So something was going on with Bluey.
Something was going on. Did you know that our internal organs don't really have their own dedicated nerves, since we don't need to feel them, really? Like, I don't need to feel my liver.
Which, thank God.
Yeah, that would be weird.
I don't want to feel my gallbladder.
So when needed, they use nerves that are associated with other areas instead, all of which are connected via our spinal cord. So this is why you're more likely to feel a heart attack in your left arm than in your chest, at least initially.
That does make sense. But also, do you ever experience this with where like you get a light tingle in your left arm and you're like, this is it?
Yeah, every day. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure I'm not alone. I'm like, oh!
I'll like sit on my foot for like 35 minutes and then my foot will be numb and I'll be like, goodbye. Goodbye, cruel world. It's like, bitch, you sat on your foot for 35 minutes. Like, what do you think is happening?
That's
You're
what I
not
was
dying.
about to say, was like, I feel like my left arm will get numb in the middle of the night. So I'll like roll over and be like, oh my God, like Alex is dead asleep. Like no one's going to know I'm having a heart attack. I'm like, I was just sleeping on top of my arm
Yeah,
for
you were
hours.
asleep on your arm.
And that's why it's numb.
You psycho. So
So
that one's not like the craziest because they're pretty close together, like your chest and your arm. But some, for example, you'll feel your spleen in the top of your left shoulder.
bitch.
So if something's going wrong in your spleen, you'll feel it in your left shoulder. And sometimes you'll feel stomach pain in your upper back between your shoulder blades.
Ooh.
So this is called referred pain. It's just when, for whatever reason, your brain is getting signals that there's a pain in an area of your body, but nothing's actually wrong with that area. It's happening somewhere where the nerves have an association with that area.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, I'm looking at you, lefty.
Watch out for spleen problems.
Spleen probs. That was all I had.
Wait, what did you have? You had Bluey?
And the stupid caterpillar juice.
Oh, okay. Well, I have one more, if you care. You might be too
I
far
do.
gone.
I'm just like, God damn it, the caterpillar juice that everyone knows about. But they should be reminded.
Yeah,
All right,
no,
go
they
ahead.
should. Do you know why we call computer problems bugs?
No.
Like why you have to debug your software?
No, but you're triggering me because of earlier tonight. Go ahead.
Computer bugs got their name from a literal bug. In 1947, a team working on the Harvard Mark II computer were looking for the cause of a malfunction and found a moth trapped in a relay. And since then, we have referred to computer problems as bugs.
Moths fucking suck. Like, they wish.
Well, I'm not going to blame the moth.
They wish they were butterflies. No, I just don't like I don't like them because I think butterflies are so pretty and moths are just fucking white.
Not all moths are white, Lauren,
Oh,
you
right.
racist.
This just became so much about race because I was like, yeah, let's call out the white.
Not all moths. Hashtag not all moths, Lauren.
Hashtag not all moths. I guess you're right. They can be lots of colors. I am.
You are spouting hatred for one of God's beautiful creatures.
But we have to have mothballs in our old stuff hanging in the closet, so moths be hating.
Yeah, I mean, we're having a problem with the weather changing, like the weather warming up now, because we have these like big Christmas lights in our living room. The lights are inside, but the problem is when we're sitting on the couch, you can hear the moths hitting the screen windows. So it's like boom, 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 boom.
Does it feel like a song?
No, it feels like the mist is happening. The mist started. It's like, how big is that motherfucker that just hit the screen? Okay, let's wrap the show up because I'm so tired. It's almost 11 p.m. here.
We've been
This is
recording for so long.
insane.
I wonder if even 40 minutes of this episode could be.
Listen, we'll see.
Used.
We'll see, guys. The witchy weather forecast for this episode, the reason that there was not one in this episode is because it's coming out June 13th. I'm hoping this episode is out before June 13th, but we will see because I leave next Friday for my road trip with my mom.
That's right. Girls trip.
Girls trip. Girls trip. So we'll see. But the witchy weather forecast will be out on Friday the 13th.
Another one? I feel like there's been
another
one.
We are going to spin the wheel to end the episode. But in the meantime, please follow us on social media at Keep It Weird Cast. Please join our Patreon at patreon.com/keepitweirdpodcast. Donate to our show. You get bonus episodes every month. You can also get merch at keepitweirdpodcast.com/merch. And are you ready to spin?
Yeah.
Right, here. Let's do it. Birthday episode spin. Ew, 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 ew.
What is it?
Inspiration.
don't want it.
Ew, 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 ew. Do you want to do hive mind?
Oh, I kind of do. No, I do. Because
Okay,
even when
okay,
we get
okay.
it wrong, I think it's fun.
Then we will do hive mind. Hive mind is where we take our Zener cards and we attempt to send a psychic message across the internet and across the country. These are our shapes.
Okay, I need to make sure because we get it wrong often.
Well, I sent it to you last time. Do you want me to send it to you again?
I'm going to send it to you.
Okay. So when you're sending me this, remember all of our training. Remember all of our past training. Here are the cards. I have shuffled them. I don't know what card this is. Are you ready to send it?
Ready. Okay.
Plus sign.
No.
No.
What was so funny and dumb and only something a high person would say is I didn't even mean to, but I was like taking deep breaths trying to send it to you in like a neon sign. But as I was inhaling, it sounded like ocean waves going like,
oh, like a
and then when I blew out, because my nose is stuffed, when I would blow out, there was a squeak and it sounded like a seagull. And I was like, she'll definitely get it from my ocean seagull nostrils. So I just needed you to know that that's what my high mind thought was going to get us hive mind. Anybody in the house?
Bailamos. Let the rhythm take over. Bailamos. Te quiero.
Mamma mia.
That's not what happened for me. I did not hear the ocean waves or the seagull. I cleared my mind.
Of course you did it.
I cleared my mind, and I saw eventually. I saw an X.
Oh.
And I was like, well, that's not any of the shapes. And then I realized, oh, fuck. If you turn a plus sign, it's an X. So I was like, I fucking nailed this. And you were like, no, squiggly lines. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I don't know why you showed me an X then, universe. Because I fucking saw one.
X marks the spot, usually on a pirate treasure map, which is on the beach, which is next to the ocean.
Which has waves.
We have to head out.
We have to go. we have to go. We've been here too long. We've had
Happy
too
birthday,
many experiences.
Ashley.
Happy birthday, Lauren.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you so much. We'll see you soon, guys. Keep it weird.